Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the 13th Dimension, the second episode of the second half of the second season. So, anyway, Nick is not here right now. He's had something come up. He's on his way over to Mansfield, Ohio, right now for the that Paracon that they got going on, and it's going to probably be another hour before he even reaches his destination. So he might be showing up during the second half of the show. Um, but meanwhile, I have an announcement of my own. And as all of you already know, that I've got more surgeries coming up, and the next surgery that I have will be the big one, and that's basically going to be the reshaping of my face and jaw alignment. Um, it's not scheduled yet, but we are looking at towards the end of August, sometime in September, to do that, and that's going to put me out for 2 months. So, with that being said, when it puts me out, Nick had already said that he's going to go ahead and take his break during that time. So we will be doing shows up to the week before my surgery, and that will be the end of season two. And we will take our break, and when I'm ready to come back, and that will be the beginning of season three. Um, and what they're going to do is when they reshape my face, they're going to have to make incisions all the way up to the top of my head. So with that, right before the surgery, I will be cutting all my hair off. Um, and this is a year that I would have been cutting all the hair off anyway, but I pushed that back because something that was going to be happening initially in the fall, but now it's been pushed forward into July. So I'll be able to do that and still cut all my hair off for the surgery, because even though the doctor said that I wouldn't need to, I think it would be safer if I did. So, meanwhile, um, we have a special guest tonight. He founded the Community Pay It Forward charity. Um, His name is Zak Clayton, and he's a good friend of mine. So everybody, please welcome Zak.
How's it going, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. How you doing, Zak?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Just speaking from a little bit of experience, the whole cutting of the hair thing. They tell you that you don't have to do it, but then when they do the surgery, your hair looks like crap anyway, so you end up cutting it off anyway. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really kind of one of the better things to do. I remember when I woke up and I came out of surgery. I had a beard going at the time, a real beard going at the time, and uh, they took and they shaved off a portion of my mustache and a portion of my beard and just left these blotches of hair missing. And I was left with just, I mean, it was just, it was an awful look. And of course, I was too, with the fractured skull and everything I ended up having,
Yeah.
I was too confused to know what I was looking like. A couple weeks later, when I got out of the hospital, I still had like shorter hair in one place because it had been cut open, and like bushy hair everywhere else. So I was like, going, you couldn't have just shaved it all off. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like I was going to look any worse than I did at that time. So it's, take the hair. Let's not do this to me.
Yeah. It was kind of a hard decision. Normally, I would be without my hair now, because when I was in Vegas, I would have cut it off then.
Yeah.
Um, but because of what I've got planned later on, I was going to save it because I knew that everybody identified me with the long hair. So I
Yep.
wanted to save it for that specific thing, and then I was just going to wait until next year, which is going to be in June when I go out to Reno. I was just going to wait till then, get all my hair cut off. But when when the thing got pushed up, now it's in July. I thought, Okay, I'll be able to do that. That'll be done and over with. And when the surgery comes up, I could just bzz, right before then.
Yep.
Uh,
Well, I think, I really think it's kind of one of the, yeah, well, I think it's a better idea. It's just very hard, when
yeah,
you've got everything else that you're going to have to worry about. You went from where you were, as we were talking about just a couple minutes ago, we went from where you were on an all liquid diet just instantly to where now they're going to have to take and they're going to have to bust things back open,
yep,
reshape stuff. You're going to have to go back on that liquid diet and all this other stuff. You're absolutely right. At least this time it's coming. So it's going to be, is it going to be easy? No, no. But you can adjust to it a little bit better than just waking up with all the pain and all the, critical life changes.
well, I was lucky in that respect because when I woke up, I never really felt pain. It's just a lot of aches, but nothing that was like ow, ow,
Okay. You
ow.
you are very lucky then. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very lucky. They had me on some good stuff. They did. They had me on some good stuff. Um, but and I know it's going to be the same way because when I have that surgery, he said that I will probably be in the hospital for 3 days, and then I'll be able to go home, which
No,
is
that's
a lot better than last time.
yeah. Yeah. That's actually a really that's a really quick turnaround. I'm really surprised to hear with the extensiveness of the surgery. I'm really surprised to hear that it's going to be 3 days. That makes
Yeah,
me extremely happy because after a while you just kind of get sick and tired of being in those places, and especially when it's something that's not your fault and you end up, you're the one whose lives get changed by it. And, you already have to go through all the stuff and all the lawyers and all the other fun crap. You already have to deal with all that stuff. And,
yeah,
and when, you know,
and
and
it's not easy.
yeah, yeah, no, it's not. And you lose a lot of yourself in it at times as well because you're doing all this stuff, you're getting all this stuff done to you. People are making decisions on your life and you have you have nothing you can do about it except for sit there and say, "Yes, man, yes sir, can I take another?" I mean that's basically what it
Mhm.
is. All these people are making your decisions, are affecting your life. If a doctor forgets to put an X in the wrong place, your check doesn't come, you're screwed, and I really really do remember being times when it was just, I felt so helpless with everything that was going on. And so that's why I've
Yeah,
always, tried to reach out to you and talk to you at any point in time I could because, I remember what it was like suffering from the head injury, and you're already dealing with different feelings and different things that are going on in your head, and you know now everything else is being changed and you don't feel like people are paying attention to you sometimes. It's tough. It really is tough.
yeah. It and you're absolutely right. When I was in the hospital, I felt like that I had lost a lot of me,
Yep.
um, and it was really hard because I don't like depending on people, and that was one of the hardest things I had to do is depending on them to do certain things that normally I could do myself.
Yeah.
Um, oh, hello, Facebook user. Please go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them permission to be able to display your name. Otherwise, it's going to show you as Facebook user, and we are not going to know who you are. Let's get that thing up there. Um,
And then,
And doing the physical therapy at the hospital was hard too.
oh yeah.
And they said that, well, you can go home on January 3rd, which is not even 3 weeks after my accident.
Hmm.
And, I'm walking around the corridors there in the hospital. I'm going up and down the stairs and practicing getting in and out of cars and practicing getting on a bed and getting off of the bed and trying to fold clothes. And I was really worried about how it was going to be when I got home. But as soon as I walked in the door, it's like everything flipped on me. And I just felt like I was in my element and I felt more comfortable that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm a terrible patient, and I'll be the first one to tell anybody about it. I tell my doctors every time that I'm a terrible patient, you know, because whenever they would come in and they would say, "Wow, you're looking good today," and they'd even be joking, "Let's see what we can do. Maybe we can get you out of here today." Ha ha ha. I was finally, okay, fine, sign the papers, I'm leaving. And they're like, "You're not ready to go home." And I'm like, "Well, you said I have a chance, I'm going home." And I'm going to tell you something, Jeremy. I should have never went home. There were times that when my head would slip off a pillow, it took large human beings to move me to get my neck back up to where I could settle down and I could relax again. And because of the way that my neck and my head were crushed, it made it to where, if my neck wasn't sitting perfect, I was in so much pain. I was in excruciating pain, to be honest with you. And yeah, I like you said, it's really hard to go from being a fully functioning human being to something that everything in your life really you have to depend on other people for.
Yeah.
And it's never been an easy thing.
Yeah,
So
because you go from being completely independent to completely dependent.
yeah. Yep.
Um, and
So
that's a huge hit to the ego, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah. And Jeremy, that's really kind of why I started the company, is because one of the things that I saw after my accident was I looked around my room and and there were a few people there for me when I woke up, and I was like, and the first thing I really thought to myself after, oh my God, how's my bike? Of course, that's the first thing I think of because I'm a dumbass biker, Scott.
Hey,
Um,
Scott. Hi, Emily.
but yeah, so the first thing I think of is, oh my God, how's my bike? Am I going to be able to ride her again? What's going on? And not thinking that, I couldn't even tell you who I was at that point in time. Second thing I really did is I looked around and I saw all the people that were there to support me. And I really thought about, wow, what if I was brand new to this city and nobody knew who I was? Yeah, Scott, that pretty much tells what we all are. Just the dumbass biker thing. That's us.
I did the exact same thing that you did when the day that I had my accident. The first thing I was worried about was the network.
Yeah.
So after they called my dad to let him know, this happened, they said, "Is there anybody else you want us to call?" Yes, call Crystal,
Yep.
because Crystal was my second in command, and so they called her to let her know. And from that time on, she and Adrian stepped up and ran the network for me,
Yep. Oh yeah.
and the network thrived because of that. And I
Well,
think
it is.
I
It is.
love it.
I mean, it is great when you have friends that are able to step up and they're able to put you in, in your responsibilities in a higher priority.
Mhm.
But we do get lucky at times, Jeremy, and we have people that we can depend on to do that. And but I was really thinking when I created Community Pay It Forward, it was for that reason. What about the people who just moved here and they don't have those people? Everybody that they know is a couple hundred miles away in another state, or you know, uh,
Yep.
hell, in another country. It doesn't matter. Who can they rely on? And so that's kind of what that's really one of the reasons why I started this, is I wanted to try to find a way to make sure nobody had to do this alone, because this isn't something anybody should have to do alone. It's too damn hard to do it alone. I mean, so
Another country, yeah.
yeah,
Somebody
yeah,
moving in from another country, they literally have nobody. And plus, they would have that language barrier too.
yep, exactly. Culture, language, yeah, all those things. Like, here's one example, Jeremy. I believe I was telling you about this when you were here a couple of weeks ago. That we ended up finding a gentleman who was on vacation from Hawaii, and yeah, I know Hawaii's not another country, but
Might
well,
as well be.
yeah, he was on vacation here in Colorado, and he borrowed his son-in-law's Ninja, and he was riding around in the canyon, and he got ran off the road, and he went underneath the guardrail, and they didn't find him for 3 weeks, and it was I'm the one who ended up finding him after being 3 months submerged in the water. And it was kind of one of those things that I mean, that's one of those points where the family felt helpless. There was nothing that they could do, stuff like that. And really just having somebody, they gave him the person from the police that they could talk to him and say, hey, we're doing everything that we can do, all this other stuff. I remember sending a note to the family just telling them, hey, we are, we're glad we got to bring him home to you. We're glad that we were able to find him for you, but good God, if there's anything that we can do to help you out, I felt horrible because that family had been looking for him for 3 weeks, and I found him just pure purely on an accident.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, and it was sad, but I'm glad that it happened. He was laid to rest with his company. So
At least they had closure.
yeah,
At least they had closure. They had an answer. It wasn't an answer that they wanted, but at least now they know. Instead of going on the rest of their lives never knowing what happened, because I think that would actually be worse. Because at that point you're thinking, well, what if he's there? What if he's here or something?
you know, there are Colorado got hit by some pretty severe floods. I'm going to say probably about 12 years ago now, maybe. It was
Okay.
obviously I was still working at the time, but we got hit by some pretty severe floods, and there were three people who still to this day have not been found
Oh
from those
wow.
floods. That they were just they got washed away, and I think just like you did, it's kind of one of those things that you think to yourself. It's like going, good God, could you imagine being that family that there's no, this is one of the reasons why missing people is so this difficult for people, because you're trying to you're really trying to say goodbye when you can't even say goodbye because you don't know,
Right.
that they're probably gone, but you don't have that, you don't have that proof. It's just not there.
Yeah, because how many times have they had something where somebody's been gone for so long, so automatically after let's say 12 years, this he's dead.
Yep.
Then later on, somebody ends up finding that person alive and well, but because he got hit so hard, he's got full blown
Amnesia, yeah.
yes, yes,
Or just they just got tired of life. I think there's even more accounts of people just getting tired of life and saying, you know what, I'm no longer this guy. I want to go and be somebody else. I've ran this guy into the dirt. I'm done being this guy. I'm going to go and be somebody else from now on. So,
fill
but
up the gas tank and go in one direction, and where you run out of gas, that's where you start your new life.
yep, that's where you take and you try to find a job and you go, hey, woohoo, we're working now. So, yep, but I mean, so Yeah, it does. There's always that thing. If you don't know somebody's gone for sure, you've always got that question, could they still be here? And that's just something that's going to nag on you forever. And I
Yes.
do. I feel terrible for people who lose loved ones. Like I said, these three individuals who have been lost from the since that flood. That's just terrible. I know one of the ladies that's still missing. I used to bartend for her. 3 years before the flood, she lost her husband, and it was a shock to us all. And then when it came to this flood, she was up in a tree, and people were trying to get to her, and the water just came up and drug her out, and she's not been seen since. So, it's devastating to people, and I hate hearing that. But, like I said, that's one of the reasons why this is so important to me, because I don't think anybody needs to go through any situation alone. And when you and I were talking about what we're working on right now, I thought it was a great thing, because this is one thing where community pay it forward, and things can get together and do some wonderful, wonderful things with trying to bring, as I named it, these walls can talk. If we can save some of these historical
Mhm.
sites, you know, this gives us a chance to tell the stories of these buildings, tell the stories that they have behind them. And if we can get together and we can try to raise some money and save some of these places, why not? And what we're doing is, all we're asking people to do is amend where they shop. You shop with my partners, and they're my partners actually the ones who even donate the money. They give us a referral fee, and we turn that referral fee into a donation. And if we can help save some of these places that you guys love, you and Adrian, and I've heard Scott talking about it. I've heard everybody talking about Waverly. I obviously am new to this whole paranormal stuff, due to Adrian. I knew nothing about it before this. Somebody said paranormal to me before, and I'm like going, "Oh, are we watching Ghostbusters or Ghost Hunters or what are we doing?" So that was my paranormal activity at that point in time.
And
So
now here you are, full blown into the paranormal world.
yeah, yeah. Now I'm one of you wackadoos. So
Yep. Thank you, Adrian.
yeah, and actually proud of it. I mean, when what we did a couple weeks ago, that was so much fun. I mean, it really, really was a lot of fun. And plus we got to hang out with my father, who just recently had a series of strokes, which
He
was,
was fun.
yeah. Oh,
He
he's
was fun.
he's a he's a
Okay.
he's a real kick in the ass. So
I don't know who you are, but hello. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook to give permission for them to display your name.
yeah, see,
Uh,
I'm kind of glad that you're teaching me this trick. I've never had one of those come up on my shows. So,
really?
yeah, I've never had a Facebook user come up on my show. Then again, I don't have this many people on my shows. I talk about charities. They don't want to come and talk to me. So,
So right now we got 10 viewers. Oh, it's Anita. Hi, Anita. We've been getting Facebook users for, well, even before Things Network launched.
yeah,
So
with all the scary stuff that happened on Zoom, to where people can come in and bomb your show, and you're having a nice conversation, and next thing you know, there's something X-rated that people are watching. You as the host, you have no chance to even find that. When you guys introduced me to StreamYard, I was in love, because somebody doesn't have their camera on, they're not coming on the show,
right.
which is great.
Well,
Zoom.
no, you can come onto this show and not have your camera on.
Oh, yeah, but you can make the rule if your camera's not on. Yeah,
Yeah.
but what I always tell people is, if your camera's not on, you're not coming on to the show, because last thing in the world I want to see is like a scene from a X-rated movie while I'm trying to talk about something like Martyred Angels, which is an organization that we work with that helps parents after losing a child, and during that 22-hour podcast that I did for veteran suicide, we started getting some of that, some of the weird stuff that I know that you guys get all the time, the people talking about kids yeah, there you go, eyes wide shut. Yep, that's it. So, but um, but yeah, you know, we had some of those people start hitting us up on talking just weird stuff that shouldn't be said. So, but yeah, so I really do. I like the StreamYard. I like the way that it's working, and now at Pact, that's what we use, the StreamYard, due because of this problem. So, but I've never had that. So, yep, leave it to Scotty. He and I are too much alike, except for I guess as tall as he is, that's about as wide as I am. So I'm kind of a fat guy. So like I could probably carry Scotty around in my pocket from what I've been told. So but
And you can't go wrong with Nicole Kidman.
yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, Emily, did you expect that to go that way? Three guys, you probably should have, but
Yeah. StreamYard is a lot easier to produce on than Zoom is.
Yeah.
Um,
So
but yeah, and to go along with the saving the locations that we've been talking about, and I have heard of MVets. In fact, Scott, I used to do karaoke at an MVets over just off of Coldwater in Fort Wayne. It's a Napa store now, so I don't know where they've relocated to. But yeah, I used to go to MVets a lot for karaoke.
I'm not sure if we have those in this area, Scott. I'm not familiar with that. I know that when I was part of the VFW Warriors, and so I knew all about riding with, doing a lot of work with VFW and American Legion, Knights of Columbus, all that other stuff. I've had plenty of recognition with them, but I've really never heard of AMVETS. What's that all about?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they do is probably like another VFW. I'm going to guess.
Hope for Heroes. Yeah, Scotty, you ought to get a hold of me, man. That's the kind of stuff we love raising money for. So, and like I said, one of the greatest things that we do is we don't ask people to give us money. We never ask for people to give us money. We just ask people to shop with our partners. And 80% of the referral fee that they give us goes to people who need help. So, with what we're talking about on These Walls Can Talk, all of these places that Jeremy and Nick are going to be reaching out to where we can try to save some of these locations that are so important, not just for paranormal, but history wise. Yeah, definitely. Let's get a hold of them, Scott. Let's have a conversation about that. But, one of the greatest things, like I said, is you guys have the paranormal side that you guys love of these buildings. I'm a history guy. You and I, we talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
You saw my reaction when we saw some of these tombstones that were from the mid 1800s and stuff like that. And it's just, it's enough to just kind of make your mind go numb, that it's like, oh my God, this thing is 150 years old. I go into a museum and, I just turned 50. I walk into a museum and I'm like a kid running around with a balloon, annoying. Look at this, look at this, look at this. And my kids are the ones who are tying me down going,
hey, you were that way in the cemetery. Be honest. You were like that in the cemetery too.
Oh yeah, I was. It was pretty cool, So
and it was really cool on some of them headstones, some of the symbols that we found.
Yeah.
To the point where we were on the phone with Tim for an hour.
Yeah,
trying to figure out what that one symbol was.
yeah, trying to figure out some of the meanings, and then some of and then finding uh the Ouija board, finding her tombstone. That was
Oh yeah,
amazing.
the lady who named the Ouija board.
Yeah.
I forget her name though.
Yeah, I can't remember her name now either. I think it's
Yeah,
funny. I still think it's funny how that whole thing played out. That the
it
only reason we
is.
were stopped was because I was looking at one of the first governors of Colorado.
Colorado.
It was his tombstone, and Adrian looked over and she goes, "There it is!" And all of a sudden, she's out of the car running, and we're like going,
Yeah.
"She have to pee or what?" I mean, like going, "Where's she?" And she's like, "Yeah, here it is." We were like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, it
And,
was. It's
and I
weird
was
how
even
that whole
looking at the
story got us
video
together to
where
do.
they did the unveiling, trying to figure out where it was at, and they did a full 360. And I did not see those military headstones that was literally just off in the distance that you can clearly see from that headstone. But when they did the turnaround on the video, when they did that, you couldn't see it at all. Hi,
Yeah,
Dina.
yeah, and let's I that that cemetery was so neat. Just being able to walk around there, and some of the stuff that we saw there from the you know uh, all the different wars, and the Masonic assemblage, and what was the other, the woodsman,
Woodsman of the World.
right? And
They
then,
also had one for females too.
yeah, so
Woods women, I think they said.
yeah, so I cannot remember exactly what it was, but let's be honest, none of them were as cool as the one that said "knock knock, who's there?" and had an arrow pointing towards the front. That was the
Yeah,
funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
that was funny.
So you know, that's if I was going to have a tombstone, I'd want a tombstone that was like that. On the back, it just simply said "knock knock, who's there?" and it had an arrow pointing towards the front of it. It was really funny. So
I am not sure what I would do for my headstone. I don't know. All I've been thinking about is how I'd be screwing with the investigators at wherever I'm haunted. But I never really thought about what kind of tombstone I'd want.
I think I want to be. You know what? If I were to be buried, in which I don't plan on being buried, but I think one of the cool things would be is to make sure that one of my kids would keep going down and like make sure that they buried me with a mouse and keep having those one of those bells hooked up, but taking the end of the bell, pulling it up, grabbing some cheese and tying it down there to where that mouse always goes and pulls on that string and has the little bell go ding 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 all the time. You know, 15 years
Then they
from
come
now,
and dig
people are
you up
hearing
every
that thing
time.
going on. So I'm kind of weird that way, but
Yeah, that's where the phrase "saved by the bell" or "dead ringer" came from.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's one of those. That was that was one of those like Southern Russian lores, wasn't it? Oh no, no, we were watching something about that there was a guy that was in an autopsy and he had that condition where his body stopped, and
Oh,
yeah, his body completely stopped, and then went to go and cut him open, and he rose up and he was like, "Ow!" It was like, okay, first off, if I was that mortician, well, you'd never see me again because I would have done shit a brick and ran through a wall. All right, let's be
yeah.
honest here.
Well, he definitely would be changing his pants. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, 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 and it would have been like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. It would have been or with me, it would have been more like the Kool Aid Man coming through the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, but uh, you know, it. All I could think of when I saw that, I would be like, no, gone. No, that would never happen. It's kind of like Adrian keeps talking to me about going to the Island of the Dolls, and I tell
Oh,
her
I remember that conversation.
Not going to happen. Won't happen. Not in a million years. Because one noise, I'd hear a cricket fart, and I'm going to tell you something. I don't care what's in that water. I'd be swimming back to shore. I'd be gone. I would be so gone. And when I saw the sun going down, no way am I going to be stuck on that island. I just don't like.
I admit, just looking at the pictures of how the dolls are placed on that island, that is pretty creepy.
Yeah. It was not a sane individual who built that.
Yeah. Dina, I think you are.
Yeah, you are allowed.
The only island that I know that you're not allowed on is that one off the coast of Italy.
Are you talking about Dead Man's or
It's
Devil's Island?
it was a leper island, I think it was.
Yeah, the island of the Dead Man's Island of the Dead, something like that.
I don't know what it was called. It's like Provencia, something like that. They did that island on Ghost Adventures. I know that.
What it says on the good old Google machine is that it's just south of Mexico City, between the canals of, I'm not even going to try those names, so never mind that, with a sad background which never intended to be a tourist destination. So the words tourist destination, you can probably go, but you really need to check yourself if you want to go to the island. I mean,
well, you got to think. You got to think about it. Us investigators, sometimes we do like to go explore in creepy old places, even if they are not haunted.
I can find creepy old places. That place is just psychotic. But I'm a guy who doesn't like going walking through Toys R Us doll islands or doll aisles. I'm not that guy.
The island, that's actually where I would take Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy fit in well there. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what I mean by Lucy, is that new doll that I inherited, ironically from Zach and Adrian. Boy, would she torture you with that doll.
Yeah, I guess there's a couple pictures of that damn thing next to me sleeping or whatever, and I'm just like, really? Good guy. It actually kind of makes me wonder, what else is she doing when I'm sleeping? It kind of scares me, How many pictures are there of Adrian sitting there holding my head with the scissors? I
just don't move.
Yeah, right. Now, one of these mornings, I'm going to sneeze and I'm going to end up with a open nasal cavity, right, or something like that.
I can just about imagine Adrian is watching this, sitting on the couch in the living room, just laughing her ass off.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and our little buddy that we've taken in right now, he's probably sitting there looking at her going, you really do crazy stuff like that? Do you really do crazy stuff like that? She does.
Yep.
So
hey, you're learning a lot about her now, fella.
Yeah. Andrew, watch out.
Yeah.
She
said, "Hey, I got something to show you." I was like, "Okay," and then she said, "You're going to take this home with you." I am.
Yeah.
I had no idea what to expect. I certainly didn't expect a doll.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think it was really kind of funny because when she told me that she was going to give it to you, the only thing I could think of was with the first time I met you in Salina, when she showed you that doll, how happy you got that day. Yeah. I mean, I had never in my life seen somebody as happy as you were, and just you grabbed that doll from her and just
look at that doll. How do you not be happy with it? Okay, well, you may be the wrong person to ask that.
I was gonna say buy a puppy. I,
Well, right now I could
I
actually have a puppy because I'm home all the time.
yeah. So a
When I
true
was at work, people would say, "Get yourself a dog," and something. I wouldn't be fair to the dog because I'm never home.
yeah.
Now I can actually have one.
Yeah. Like I said, you ask about that doll, and I'll just say get something less creepy like a tarantula. It doesn't matter if you're home or not; they're okay.
Right.
So,
That tarantula was creepy, and I could not believe how still it was that whole time I was there.
no, yeah, she doesn't she doesn't move unless she thinks she has to move. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and we've had her. My baby boy got her after his kindergarten year, and he's now 20. So we've had her in the family ever since because his kindergarten teacher, he drove her out of teaching. It was her last year teaching. She was like, "No, oh, I'm done with these damn kids." So can't had to deal with justice. I'm done. So she gave that up.
That's better to hang up. Check.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But yeah, these walls can talk thing. There's a few locations I can name right off the bat for that. And we were actually talking about one of them last night, the Masonic Temple there in Salina, Kansas.
yeah,
Um,
that's one of the places that that place actually does hold a lot of my heart in it because that's when I got to meet all of a
mhm.
good portion of you guys. That's when uh, that that's when I really was first welcomed into this society of the paranormal. And my first thought was, not, oh my God, I'm going in with a bunch of ghost hunters. What the hell am I going to do here? My first thought was, look at this freaking building. And that's the kind of guy I am. I was sitting there, Adrian's trying to introduce me to people, and I'm like going, but look, look, wow, look, I'm all, here we go again, kid, shiny squirrel. I'm freaking out over the architecture and stuff, but I
Well,
thought it was,
I
I was
was the
welcome.
same way when I got my first tour of the building. I just fell in love with the building.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and
and
ever since then, I've been telling people if you go to one big location, only one big location, this is it.
mm-hmm,
You know, Waverly is another building that you need to go to, but not right now. Um, but that's another place that would definitely fit in with these walls can talk. Um, and honestly, they would need it more than the temple does because of the shape that it's in. The Masonic Temple, it is still a very strong, very solid building. Um, and when you go in there, you wouldn't really be able to tell that it's not been used very much.
yeah, it's just they. I know that they have like the Vietnam vet building downstairs, and they got all kinds of different things. And I know that they rent it out for weddings and stuff, but
Mhm.
that that building is just so it's mesmerizing. It truly
It
is.
is.
I mean, that's the best way I can put it is that building you walk in and you feel that's one of the reasons why I named this These Walls Can Talk, because you walk into that building, paranormal or not, you feel history in that building as soon as you walk in. You feel the importance of what's gone on there. Now, whether that importance is good, not good, if it's created Lucy, we don't know. But what we do know, but what we do know,
Nobody knows where Lucy came from.
what's that?
Nobody knows where Lucy came from.
Oh, I've heard the story.
Yeah, it still baffles me, and that doll tells a story. We just don't know what story it is yet.
Yeah,
And when you're walking into the Masonic Temple, that place has a story to tell.
Yep.
Um, and it's not just because of the history behind it and the things that they've done, but it's in the woodwork, it's in the craftsmanship throughout the entire building. The gargoyles that they have, all the way to the angel wings that are in the marble at the wall as you're going up the stairs.
The lightning strike that took it all to the ground, and they had to redo it.
Yeah.
There's so much to that building.
Hmm.
And, I still thought one of the funniest things that you read on that is that, when the USO was there, and they'd bring in all these boys that had been overseas and stuff, and 500 men, and then they'd say, and then there would be like 200 local women, and it's like going, oh, that's real fair. That's real fair. I'm not sure if I would have let my daughter went to one of those dances. Let's just put it that way. I don't have a daughter, and I know for a fact I wouldn't have let her go to that dance.
Well, I do have a daughter, and I damn sure would not let her go.
Let's see. There's going to be 500 kids who just came over back from war. Oh, you want to go dance with them? Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
No, no, your little ass is staying right here.
That's right. Is your homework done? Dad, I'm 30. I don't care. Is your homework done?
You got homework now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we
There's also another place. It's I think it's the second floor. There's like a guitar shop. When you get onto the floor, you turn to the left, and you go through these doors, and then on the left hand side is that guitar shop. It's like Guitar World or something like that. At least it was there when I was there. I don't know if it's still there. Um, then there was like a nail shop spa type thing in the basement. I think that's actually Jennifer's business, but I'm not quite certain on that one.
uh, like I said, I know that they've got certain things that are in there. Um, as a lot of businesses that we all know, look, the pandemic took a huge
The
hit
deal.
on all of these buildings, and a lot of these buildings, you can really think of them as somebody like as a musician who, last 2.5 years, it's been hit or miss if they get to go and play anywhere. I mean, to make a living. And it's just, these buildings they depend on people to come and see them. So there's a lot of these buildings that we're seeing get shut down. And
Yeah.
you and I started talking about this, hell, when we first met, talking about trying to do something to start saving some of these buildings that mean so much to people, not just people now, but people in the past. And they tell the stories of they tell the stories of the cities. A lot of these buildings have outlived the towns that were there, and I think it's one of those things that they're so important that we keep them open, not just for the paranormal, but for the education, for the things that they can help us decipher. And I mean, look, we all know that the past wasn't always a friendly place to be.
No.
If we lose all these buildings like this, we lose the lessons that we learned because of these buildings. And if there's anything in this country right now that's a little scary, it's the way that some of us are reverting way back to the way things used to be. They're kind of forgetting that there's a reason that's the way it used to be. It's because it's not a good way to go. And
Well, there are some things. It's more for statues, but there are some things down in the South where they are trying to basically erase our past.
yeah,
And you're not going to erase our past, because if you erase the past, then you're going to forget who we are and why we are the way we are.
It's just I really think that it's everything. Everything in this world can be twisted any way you want to go. You really can. You can turn the most innocent thing in the world. Well, let's look at Lucy. Started out as a girl's doll in the 1800s, early 1900s. Started out as a little girl's doll that's now got a Frankenstein glass head bowl thing with phones and batteries and whatever the hell else is up.
Who knows what's in there?
What's that?
Who knows what's all
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there?
I don't remember all of what's in there, but you know, so I mean, you can turn anything in this world, you can turn it ugly,
Yeah.
and that's what has happened to a lot of times, and now that's one of the reasons why there's such a big uproar. But you cannot forget that there's a reason why those things are important. And everything that has come from the past really has a great importance. It's kind of like we tell people all the time with our partners, the ones that work with us, the businesses that give us that referral, that we can save some of these buildings. uh, Scott was talking, these businesses that will give back, that we can help veterans with their bills and stuff like that by simply shopping with them. What we try to do is we try to tell the story of who they are, why they're in business, what they do. Because see, every single person who is in business has come upon a time in life where they've hit a roadblock and they've figured out a way to get over that roadblock, and that's what we're trying to do. And Jeremy, with the network and with everything that you're going through, you've found these roadblocks and you're building your bridges over those roadblocks.
Mhm.
Then you're going to have a story to tell somebody, kind of like what I've like to be able to do for you, to be a sounding board for you if you've got any questions about what's going on, because I did experience something similar to what you had, and so I was able to talk to you a little bit, and I was telling you what I did to kind of get over some of those roadblocks, get around them. And now what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to add to what you've heard from myself and anybody else, and you're going to be able to add to that, to where the next person we know who gets hurt, we're going to be able to guide them through it a little bit more. If
Yep.
we can keep telling people stories, if we can keep telling, what's going on with people, what ends up happening is, we all know money saves, rules the world, ruins the world, whatever you want to call it. But if we can help people with resources, if we can help people with just general facts on why it's so important to do things this way, rather than try to fight your way through it, there's we can help people through things. And it's a simple thing to do. And like I said, I really created this because I was looking for a great way to support small to medium businesses and get people who have never had a chance to ask for help in a good location. This gives them a chance. Okay. And what this is going to do is this is going to allow all the people, all you wonderful people here on the Things Network, it's going to give you guys a chance to donate to some of these buildings, even when you don't have the money to donate. Say you run a business and you need to, you want to take and make sure that all the utility bills that you're paying for, you have them set up as as cheap as you can get them. You go to one of my partners, like Sanjay, and from Schoolie Mitchell. He looks at all your bills. Costs you absolutely nothing for him to do. If he can drop what your cost is per month, they ask for 40% of the money that they saved you. You still save $60 or 60% up front, and it doesn't cost you nothing to find out. But the one thing that you do, because you hired him, you're going to get like $8 that's going to go to a cause, simply by going to them. All of my partners are the same way. If you utilize them, if you do service with them, if you get a service from them, they're going to give us a referral fee. And we take 80% of that referral fee and we turn it to people who need help. It's that simple. Scott, as I mentioned, we need to talk, brother. We need to talk. I'm all about trying to help veterans. You know I'm all about that. You were on that 22-hour podcast with me. I'm all about doing stuff like that. All of you guys out here, Dina. Um, Actually, all I see now is Dina and Scott on the questions, but everybody who's here with us. If you guys know somebody who needs help, that's what we're here to do. We're here to find solutions to problems. Um, can we find a solution to every problem? Probably not. Can we try? Damn right we can try. And if there's many people working on a problem, there's much better chance on it getting solved rather than just one or two people trying to figure it out on their own. And the other thing that I've got to say is that, Jeremy, one of the things that I think I told you a couple times is make sure that if you feel like there's something coming up that you might need help with, but you want to try it on your own, don't wait for too long, because those little problems don't stay little for very long.
Right.
Those little problems have a tendency to get big right when it's going to be, in which there's never a great time for a problem to all of a sudden become cataclysmic and giant. Nobody's ever went, oh, thank God it happened now, instead of, but well, I guess people have said that before, but they're weird. I never.
Well, if you think about it, sometimes for accidents, sometimes it's actually beneficial for it to happen either at a specific time or at a specific place. Like for my accident, the way that I got hit, it was perfect for me where I got hit, because the doctor told me that if it had been an inch in any direction, then I would have been a goner.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it actually hit me precisely where it did, because otherwise I wouldn't have survived it.
If I would have been wearing a helmet, chances are my neck would have snapped back even further and I would have been dead or a paraplegic.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to put up radio towers. My grandfather spent his entire life putting up radio towers. He was one of the first ones to put up radio towers here in Colorado. And my grandfather fell off a radio tower or two. The worst radio tower he ever fell off of was on top of a hospital.
Gee.
So, I mean, if there was ever a time, well, thank God it happened now, I guess that would be one example of thank God it happened now. But I mean, yeah, he ended up,
at least he didn't have far to go.
yeah, yeah. You didn't have to pay one hell of an ambulance ride bill for it either. So, yeah, so that was always one of the funny things. Now,
that would have been a workman's comp, though, if he had fallen off because he was a workman.
You're talking the 1950s, 1960s. They didn't deal with any of that stuff. So, yeah. And like I said, Grandpa owned his company, and he was one of them that, he would have been the guy who took and licked his eyeball and stuck it back in his socket and said, well, can't see straight, but I know what I'm doing by feel. And, I mean, he, within 3 days, with broken bones and all, he finished that job. I mean, he finished that job, which is just, we know now that's insane, but
how it was for me too, if you think about it.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's kind of one of the things that, that's the older generation. They didn't have a chance, and that's one of the reasons why. That's one of the reasons why PTSD right now is made such a big deal out of. We all know that PTSD used to be called shell shock. We all know that it used to be called, you were considered less of a man if you had war fatigue or battle fatigue. If you had any of this, men back in World War II, World War One, early in Vietnam, they didn't. That you weren't a victim. You weren't crazy. You were just a damn whim. That's the way it was thought in this country.
I remember back when I was in school, one of my friends that I used to hang out with, his dad was in Vietnam, and he would tell me there'd be many times where he was sitting on the chair and his dad was taking a nap on the couch. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he would scream, incoming, and jump off of that couch while he was still half asleep.
Yeah.
He told me that it happened many times, and I felt bad for him.
Yeah. Well, you know, it is nice that we become aware of things like that, because now it's nice that we become aware of it. Now we just need to really work on finding the way to fight it, because we are at the point where everybody's used to the number 22. We lose, 22 veterans a day, and
Yeah.
unfortunately we're up to 35 a day. Okay, 22 is a dream now to get back to 22. 25 or 35 a day, we're going to lose close to 15,000 veterans at the end of this year. And Jeremy, what's the scariest thing about that? That's only 1%, like Scott, who raised their right hand, who took that oath. 1% of our of people in our country make that oath, and we're going to lose 15,000 a year right now if we can't find a way to help them out. And you know, and truth is, we know that suicide rates are up everywhere. We got to start somewhere. So we're really focusing on trying to, with our heroes, because that's exactly what they were. They gave up parts of their life, regardless if they think they're heroes or not. They gave up a part of their life to go and stand for something that we stand for as patriots, that we stand for the freedoms that we have. Do we like the way everything goes? Hell no, we don't. Who could? But they still went and they gave up parts of their lives to do this. So we owe it to them to try to find out a reason why, or a way around it, a way to help them, and the one thing that we heard overwhelmingly on February 22nd when we did my podcast was, if you're going to offer to listen, you damn well be ready to listen, because the stories are not going to be pretty. You're not going to hear a good story. You're not going to hear a lullaby, And the worst thing that you can do is you can be sitting there listening to somebody talk, and if you're just sitting there, playing on your phone, that's gonna inflame, enrage even further. So I mean, we do ask people, hey, look, if you know somebody who's in trouble, if you don't think you can handle it, make sure you talk to somebody. You cannot react well from a suicide. How are you going to react well to a suicide? Well, they're gone. That's the only reaction. Look, suicide is the end. Let's make sure that we start pre-acting to some of these suicides. And when we're noticing people who are talking, noticing people who are starting to have some of the telltale signs, notice some of these people who are having just general struggles, find somebody who can talk to them if you can't. And look, I know a lot of them just do not want to talk, but that's when you got to get them with their buddies that they know, and maybe they can talk better than them. Maybe they just don't want to talk to a civilian, and there's a reason for that. They went through stuff that, no matter how much we want to say, hey, we feel you, we understand, we don't know a damn thing. That's like us saying that, we know what it's like to lose an arm or something. No, we don't. Not all of us do. I can talk to Jeremy about a head injury. I've had one of those. But I told Jeremy that one of the first things I told him is, look, I can tell you what I've experienced. Your head, you're going to go through something completely different. But I can tell you exactly what I went through, and we can talk our way around things and figure it out. There's ways that you can talk to people to make sure that they know that you understand, that you're there to help. But the worst thing in the world to do is, ask them to listen and then get distracted, because that just shows that, look, you cared for a little bit, but do you really care? So, just make sure that, I mean, if you're willing to listen to them, make sure that you're ready to listen. make sure that you're ready to talk, because you're not going to hear a pretty story. And the last thing in the world you want to do is you do not want to leave anybody hanging. And that's veteran, that's anybody. And we all know that suicide rates are up.
Mhm.
Tensions are very high everywhere right now, and a lot of people are feeling left out. And it's really one of those things that, no matter if you served or not, if you can help somebody, we should really try to help people.
Yeah, and as somebody who had lost two friends to suicide over the last 3 years, it's not easy. I
No.
wish that they would have opened up to talk. The one friend who's actually also best friends with Scott, because I found out through Scott about this, um, and neither one of us knew there was any problem. There was never any signs that we could detect. No, nothing. Um, and last time I saw him was out there in Vegas. Then a couple of months later, he was gone. And we would talk every now and then through Messenger. And one of the last things that he did while he was alive was support one of my things on Facebook for the paranormal group. Um, and then 2 days later, he was gone, just like that. Uh,
I think that that's one of the things that when you're in a situation like what you were in, when you're in a situation like I was in, you really realize that, 1 second goes by really quickly, but 1 second can, you know, you have no idea how important 1 second can be, because you can go from being happy, healthy, to, oh my God, he got hit and he's dead. He's
mhm.
gone.
Yep.
That's why you should never wait for anything in life. I mean, let's be honest. When you started things, it wasn't a whole lot of sitting around thinking about it. It was, let's get this done. You know, let's yeah. You've done a lot of thinking about it. You've done a lot of planning. That's not what I'm saying, but it wasn't years and years and years of, well, I'll do this, but I got to make sure all the pieces are in the right place. And you you got it done, you got it up and running. You're still making changes every day, and that's expected. you know
Well,
but the thing is,
it's funny that you would mention that because um, ever since COVID hit, I that was when the mortality started hitting because one, nobody knew what the hell was going on.
yeah,
What is this thing? What's causing this thing? Where did it come from? Nobody knew at the time, um, except for one guy, and he tried to warn people about it, but there's word out there that he was killed because that he was trying to warn people about it. But that's another story. Um, and once I see all of this coming around, I started thinking, maybe it's time for me to set something in place so that if anything were to happen to me, um, things would be taken care of. And this is before the network even thought of.
hmm
I was talking about just the team, and at the time, I didn't really have somebody as far as in a leadership position that I trusted enough to take over things. In retrospect, Scott Smith would have been the guy to choose, but I wasn't in that right frame of mind to think about that. It, a year and a half later, after everything had gone on with the old members of the team and the former network and the people who I had, I finally felt comfortable enough to say, okay, if anything happens to me, these are the people who are taking over the reins of things: Tim, Crystal, Scott, and Scott. They were going to be the ones to take over because up to when I was making this announcement, I just had this feeling of it was almost like impending doom, you know.
Hmm.
And sure enough, 3 months later, I had this accident that almost killed me,
Oh,
and I didn't think about it in that way until March, when it was like those like that.
hmm.
um, but yeah, just like that. So yeah, it was a year and a half in the making of deciding who would take over things, and at least as far as the things network goes, I pretty much put it in place. Okay, here's me. Here's number two. Here's number three. And when I was out, two and three, they stepped in and they worked their asses off to keep the network going.
Yep. Yep. There were a lot of people. I mean, it truly was. It was inspiring to see the love that came around you. I mean, it was, it, still being somewhat
There
of an outsider at that point in time, it was still just really nice to
you go.
see. What's that? Hey! Oh,
Okay, hi Nick.
he,
Um,
he just ghosted us. Thank God that wasn't like one of those porn things, I mean, it, we may have had to watch
here's a teaser trailer.
it. Yeah, there it was.
You finally made it to the hotel, Nick.
What's up, guys?
How you
Not much.
doing?
How you doing, Nick?
Doing all right. We made it to the hotel, so
That's good. At least you
You,
made it there
you
safely.
doing okay, man?
yeah, we're still a bit shaken up for what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, the important thing is you guys are safe. You're
Yep.
good. Just take a little time to calm down. You should be okay.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, you lost your banner.
Oh, I just clicked something by accident. I'm gonna fix that up right now. I just saw it disappear briefly.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's like, wait, what are you doing? What are you doing? We can see you clearly. What's
And,
going on
and
here?
now we get partial Nick.
Yeah, the ghosty Nick. So,
Yeah.
but yeah. So Nick, we did announce that we are starting These Walls Can Talk. You and I have talked about this as well,
Yes.
and where we are going to start. Jeremy and I, you and I, we both talked about doing this for a long time, and it's time we stop talking. It's time we
Definitely.
start doing it. So,
I know of 4 locations that I would love to have to be a part of this. Old Lake County Jail
hmm
in Crown Point. Nick and I have been there many times last year and earlier this year too. The Masonic Temple there in Salina, Kansas. Waverly Hills and Wildwood Sanitarium.
That's correct.
you know
Yeah.
what? Let's get him involved, guys. All we need to do is we need to have permission to raise money for him. That's it. That's all we got to do.
Exactly.
So you guys give me that permission, and then all we have to do, and it seriously is, it's so simple. You go to this little thing right here next to me, and you scan that little thing, and you go to where it says These Walls Can Talk, and in there is where all of these are going to be located. All of these places that we can take and we can save together. We can work together. Things Network and Community Pay It Forward, and we can make a huge difference when it comes to saving, preserving history, saving and preserving, uh, you know, memories and everything. Nick, like I brought up earlier, what you and I were talking about. There's a lot of these places around here that they outdate the towns that are there. There's some that are there and the towns are already gone.
Absolutely.
So, we Nick joined my podcast last week, and we started talking a little bit about this, and so I'm so thrilled that we're finally going to be able to get this going, because I really think that this is something that together we can make a huge difference in.
And something like this, I can see other networks getting involved to helping out with this, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to be a part of something like this. Um, I'm pretty sure that Skeleton Key
Oh yeah,
people to be in it. Temple of Phoenix would like to be in it. I'm pretty sure it's Haunted. Uh, Manifest, all you media. I'm sure they would
I'd
love to
even
be a
be
part of this.
possibly even Paraflix. I mean, just any network you could think of would probably want to help out.
Yeah.
yeah. Our truth is, and this is just the way it is. I don't care. I don't care who you are. If you want to help somebody, you belong with Community Pay It Forward. That's what we are. We're just a group that, we're just tired of the way things are, and we're tired of people not helping each other. So let's get together. We're not asking people to donate money. We're not asking you to go door to door. You don't have to join my cult yet. Soon you might have to. And just to let you know, when you join my cult, you get to keep your checking account. You just have to bring me Dairy Queen. That's it. Bring me Dairy Queen, and I'll be a happy cult leader. So
I'll bring you Dairy Queen, and I'll also bring you Lucy.
there you go. Just don't bring me Dairy Queen in Lucy. I don't, take her. That's a lot.
Nick, you know who I'm talking about when I say Lucy, right? Have I
Yes.
told you about her new name?
I don't know if you did, but I think I know who you're talking about either
Yeah.
way.
The doll?
Yes.
The doll that I have? Yeah, I named her Lucy.
Oh, you know what? Actually, now that you said that, I think you did say something about that once, that you named her Lucy.
I can just imagine that now, Jeremy. Next time I'm going to be scared when you're here. Oh, by the way, I bought you a banana split. Here's the doll's head.
Actually, what if they did something like that to where they make the ice cream cones in the shape of a doll's head
Oh my
and fill it
God.
up with ice cream?
Do a
That'd
bunch
be
of like
hilarious.
strawberry
Yeah.
sauce on top.
Either that or an actual glass cup of a doll's.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Just tuning in momentarily.
Hmm?
You need to repeat your wow, that is one hell of a picture of Clarissa there.
Yeah.
That picture Clarissa
Clarissa,
scared the
I
hell out of
made the announcement at the beginning of the show.
me. Wow.
Okay,
her eyes
so,
look wicked in
so I'll
that.
go ahead and say it again. So, as everybody knows, I've got more surgeries coming up. And the next one is going to be the doozy, which is going to be reshaping my face and realigning my jaw. So, we are looking at towards the end of August, September to do this. Um, we will be running 13th Dimension all the way up until that surgery, and then 13th Dimension will be going on a hiatus. Nick and I talked about this last night because I asked him what he wanted to do. He said, video, that is no excuse.
Yeah, Clarissa,
He-
what's wrong with you?
Yes. And Nick said that he would go ahead and take a break of his own, at least for the Friday nights. So therefore, that would be the end of season 2 for 13th Dimension. And when I am well enough to get back on, because the surgery is going to require me to have my mouth wired shut again for about 2 months. So we're going to wait until after all of that's taken care of, and then we will relaunch 13th Dimension, the 3rd season. And because of the incision that I'm going to be having, the incision is going to go up to the top of my head. I am going to go ahead and shave my hair off right before that surgery. I initially didn't want to do it because there was a project that I'm doing with another team coming up that they wanted to do some filming, and I was going to wait until after that. Under normal circumstances, I would not have my hair now because when I was in Vegas, I would have gone on ahead and shaved my head and mailed the hair in to Reach for Kids. But because of the filming that they wanted to do, I decided to postpone that for a year. So I was going to do that next June when I'm in Reno, Nevada. Um, but when they were initially wanting to do this in the fall time, and then when the thing about the surgery came around, I got a hold of them. I was like, okay, things are going to be really, really tight. So if you want me to be a part of this, we'll need to do this before the surgery. Otherwise, if you can't do it before then, and you're still having to do it at this original time that we were going to do this, you're going to have to do it without me because I am not going to be in any condition to do it. The next day, I was told that it's now scheduled in July, which means that I will definitely be able to be a part of this project before the surgery, and that's where I made the decision. Okay, this project will be done. I'm going to shave my head right before the surgery because they're going to have to make the incision all the way up here, and like Zach said, it's going to be a mess trying to keep it clean. So it's going to be best just to go ahead and shave it all off. I have never been on a podcast where where I had not had my hair, so it's going to be very, very different. But it is going to be necessary. It's kind of heartbreaking that I'm going to shave my hair, but at the same time, I am really, really looking forward to having 5-minute showers again.
I was just going to say, you know what, Jeremy, you can always, again, use me as an example. But then again, who in the hell would want to look like me? I just recently cut all my hair off again. So, but yeah, I mean, but who in the hell would want to look like me? I would definitely rather have hair than look.
So Jeremy, I got
it'd be in my 7 head that I got going here.
So Jeremy, I actually have, I know you can't see because I got the virtual screen up, but I actually have Tom with me, and he just suggested about that. Maybe I should shave my hair as a tribute to you. Since you got to do that. Since you got to do that yourself.
Hell, I was thinking the same thing when he was talking. Just unity behind Jeremy. We can all shave our heads. I'm already there. I mean, hell, all I have to do is stand in the sunlight, and you can see my bald head, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
I'll supply the Gorilla Glue.
Hi, Tom.
There you go. Hey, Tom's right over here. Tom, this
Yeah,
is
we
Zach.
can barely see you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, what did you say though? What did you just say about?
But,
He said, I'll supply the Gorilla
but yeah,
Glue.
honestly, it's just going to be the best all the way around for me to just go ahead and cut all my hair off and donate it. That way, it's going to make everything nice and clean for the surgeon. And less for him to have to worry about. And plus, by cutting all the hair off,
Thank God, I thought I had a stroke when I was reading this.
Carissa, no, we've reached the hotel. We're at the hotel now in Worcester, Ohio. Sorry,
Well,
Jeremy, go ahead.
so
Jeremy, the thing
by
is,
cutting all my hair off, it's going to make it a lot easier after the surgery to be able to try to keep the area clean.
Yeah.
And for stitches, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be putting staples up there. That would hurt.
Yeah.
And as I've told you before, it doesn't matter, man. You with hair, you without hair, you're still a damn pretty boy. So everybody's still gonna love you, And all you got to do is keep hanging around us ugly people, and you always look better. So that's all you have to ever do. Say, you know what? And it is kind of funny. I used to tell people all the time, hey, I'll volunteer to be the ugly one. I'm good at it. I've been doing it for years. So, but, the thing is, brother, yeah, it's a different life. It really is. I mean, but the truth is that, you know what, your plans are so much better for your outcome, because if you're trying to keep vanity over your own health, what's the point? If it's just going to get screwed up, matted up, and difficult to clean it, why have it? And what you're doing with your hair is such a beautiful, beautiful gesture anyway. I think it's fantastic what you're doing. Wigs for kids. Hell, if my hair would have been worth a rat's nest, I would have said it. But the mice, the guinea pig that we just got, Porky the rabbit. I hope she didn't hear that, because she's gonna come out and hit me.
She might be watching the shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
So,
gonna get out there.
Nick, don't
I'm
be
gonna get out there.
surprised if we
She's
see
gonna be
Adrian
old,
coming in here and just smacking you.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely be knowing what the hell she's doing in the morning when she's sitting there pummeling me. She said last night, you fat bastard. So
It's like Three Stooges style.
So, but yeah, I commend you, man. I think that what you're doing is, I think it's a wonderful thing. You're one of the people that, like I was telling you earlier, you know what? You're one of the people that we like to work with, because you don't care about putting other people ahead of yourself. We all gotta remember number one's important. We all have to remember that. Everybody does. But you know what? The truth is that number one really can't be number one if he only thinks about himself, herself. We need to really start thinking about other people, and that's the reason why we love working with you. We love taking and trying to come up with these things where, we pulled Nick onto Pact with us, just because we wanted to have some fluid motion. You and I were talking about working together. We've been talking about trying to work together for a long time on this, and so we pulled Nick over to what we were doing to give us a little bit of that paranormal feel. We've got the Rev on Pack Network because people actually really like him over there, which is really cool. So and it's a fun show.
Well, he's popular everywhere.
Oh
Yeah.
He's just I mean, when I first found out that Adrian was the producer for a show of a Catholic reverend, and that if she was going to get a full-time job, I would have to take her place, I was like, you can cancel the show. I'm not going to sit through that. First time I sat through it, I was like going, okay, this guy's pretty damn good. I like this. Now I've gotten to know the Rev as a person. He and I'm proud to say we're personally friends. And I'll tell you, I don't ever want to give that show up. I'm just the button monkey, but as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of one of those things that, you know what, I enjoy what I do with them. I enjoy playing. The show that we had today, I thought was really fun. He lets me play around with the buttons and make funny sounds and stuff like that. So I get a kick out of it. And the great thing about having somebody like the Rev is you don't know if I'm making the funny sounds or is that him or his ghosts. So,
And not many people are aware of this, but I actually produced one of his shows as well last year.
yeah. And
In fact, it was right after I left the other network. It was literally right after I left the other network. I produced his show, but he didn't mention me, and it was preferred that way. So he still mentioned as if Adrian was doing it instead of me.
oh yeah, he's still, he's still Adrian's his producer, and I'm the assistant producer. That's the way it is. None of that matters to me. It doesn't really matter. Adrian was there from the beginning, and now that he's got his second show coming here in a couple of weeks to the network, we're really excited because we get to work more with him, with you guys here. We're probably not going to carry that show on Pact because I've got other commitments at that time. But the thing is that it's just, I love the way that you guys have have brought me in, and I've become friends with you guys. I love the fact that we all get along. There's such a great mix here, because I make no secret about it. I am a history guy. I love history. And that's why Nick's show was so perfect of a fit for what we do, because we love history. We want to make sure that people know the real story of things. I mean, how many let's look at the paranormal shows that are out there. Everybody talks about their house being haunted because so and so hung themselves in the attic, and they go, the house wasn't even. Look at the one that we did here, Jeremy, on that road. It burned down.
The Wolpert Mansion.
Yeah, it burned down in the early 1900s, and people, the farmer killed his family and did all this. The house didn't even burn down until 1975. Right. So the whole story that was the premise of the hauntings was completely made up. It was complete. But
here's the crazy thing, and Nick, I don't think you even know this one, but when we got there, it was you, your dad, me, and Adrian. Right. And then we split up into twos. You and your dad went in one direction. Me and Adrian went in another direction.
Yep.
And we went as far as we could. And I was hearing something. And I was trying to describe it. And finally, I nailed it down that it sounded like a tractor in the distance. Now, this was 9 o'clock at night. There ain't nobody driving around in a tractor at that time.
Yeah.
And we even looked around. There was nothing. So we met up with you, and that's when you started telling us the story how it used to be a farmhouse, and Adrian's like, that's that tractor that you heard.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I swear I heard a tractor there in that field.
Yeah, I mean, when and after we did a little bit more of the investigation, we learned that there's a lot of witch and devil worship that goes on in that area. And so if there was anything open in that area, it was because of that. It wasn't because of the original story of the farmer losing his mind and killing his entire family. Yep. It's just kind of like the first time that we heard about the lady who the Ouija board was named after. She was supposedly buried in Cheeseman Park, according to the one story that I read. Here's the problem: Cheeseman Park was cleared out in 1917, correct, Nick?
Yeah, that's correct.
Right. She didn't die until 1945. So if she was buried in Cheeseman Park, there might be a problem.
Yeah, there would have been. I mean, even though I didn't have it,
30 years before she died.
Right. Well, and the other thing too is, even though I didn't include that in the slideshow for Cheeseman Park, it still basically makes sense whatsoever, because the park was already cleared, and I mean, maybe not fully clear because obviously they didn't move all the graves, but still, it was all cleared before she was even buried. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'll tell you what, Nick, it was really interesting being out there, because it to me, it seemed like the quintessential park that you would want to, because they had areas where you could go in there and have a little picnic blanket and all of that. They had 3 or 4 of them. They had somebody out there actually flying a kite, which I had not seen in forever.
Yeah,
and that was distance on that kite too.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'd never seen a kite that high, and
really?
We get pretty high here in Colorado, as everybody knows. I mean, we get pretty damn high here in Colorado. But that kite was up there. I was like, good God! And the kid's just kicking back. Speaking of getting high, kicking back, enjoying some of the wonderful green in Colorado. And I mean, he's just sitting there, and this kite's like 400 miles in the air.
You're looking right up, and you're still quite a bit of ways from them, and you're still looking straight up at them.
Yeah. So, but I mean, and it's such a beautiful park, Nick, and I really hope that, one of these days you get to come down here and really check it out with us, because, the couple places that we went to were interesting. Did we find anything really that, I mean, let's be honest, the most interesting place we went to was the cemetery that day. And we got we lucked out in finding the tombstone that we were looking for, but some of the stonework, some of the mausoleums, the little chapels that are there. I mean, it's such a unique little place that I would say if there was anything that was even spooky about it, it's that everything was so jammed in together, I mean, but and then of course there's the really sad things where they've got some of the stones that are completely grown over and stuff like that, and it's just like going, God, how can you sit there and you want to do something about it, but you've always got that in the back of your mind, the stories of, hey, I brought this rock home with me and oh my God, now I'm being haunted forever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I want to clear off a tombstone and give somebody their due if they're going to get pissed off. It's like, I didn't want my family to find me,
Exactly. Well, and you kind of think about it too, again, like all the graves are still, buried in that area. I mean, it's no wonder why, because again, during my research, I later found out that this was basically, when they moved the graves and stuff, like, not all of them. I mean, that was basically the real place that inspired the movie Poltergeist. So it was like the true area where
if you get the chance to go to Cheeseman Park, Nick, hopefully they won't have any people on skateboards out there.
Yeah. I don't know what I was going to say is, as they say in the movie, they have signs. Headstones.
They have signs out there specifically saying no skateboarding.
Wow.
And they had like 4 or 5 of them going all over the place and trying out little tricks. And
this is inside the Cheeseman's actual monastery thing, or what was it called? I'm sorry.
That was called the
almost like it reminded me of the Temple of Artemis.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's some kind of, it looks almost like a temple of some sort.
Yeah, it's where you would put a band up there or even hold a dance up there or something like that. And it says, hey, no skateboards, no bicycles, and then they had some fat guy that was ranting and raving about people disrespecting stuff, and I don't know what was going on. It was all a little weird. Then of course we had women in very skimpy wedding dresses on a very windy day trying to take pictures.
Yeah.
That was interesting. So
yeah, they were doing a couple of photo shoots, and then how on TV where it looks like they're in the 70s and you get this group of people and they look like they're all high and they're doing all this.
I've seen those pictures.
He knows what I'm talking about. As we're walking in there, we see this group of people. And that was the first thought in my mind. And then I saw what they were actually doing. I think they're street performers. And they were all practicing. There was one girl who was practicing with 1 or 2 hula hoops. There was another guy who
love y'all. I'm gonna get hit now.
I don't know nothing happened, but if you're gonna, I'm just gonna do it anyway because
we know what you did when you smacked him. Yes. That is spousal abuse.
See, you can't even call it that. I ain't married to him. We're good.
Oh, great. So,
they were practicing all these different ones, and some of these guys were really, really good. One of them was doing a no contact juggling type thing with a stick, and he was so good at it. The way that he moved, it was like fluid.
Yeah, it was kind of like like the voice for jesters,
Yeah.
Kind of what I was like thinking of it. It's like America's Got Talent for the court jester.
Are you kidding me right now? You got the game on sitting there while you're supposed to be on a damn show? Are you serious right now?
No, the game's on right there. I'm sitting right here on the show.
Are you serious right now? You can't get off the. Oh no.
Man, getting scolded by the future missus right there on live TV.
Can't you feel the love in this house? I mean,
I felt the love when I was there.
Yeah, so did I. It hurt.
but yeah, we had such a wonderful time. I did not want to leave, to be honest. I didn't really want to leave. I had such a great time with them, but I had to meet up with my guys who were stopping in Grand Junction, and I was going out to the Stanley Hotel. And plus, they were both starting their work day. So at 11 o'clock, I think it was 11.
Yeah,
I made it a goal to be out of there by 11. But it was still such a great time that I had with them.
Well, I know.
And trust.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
enjoyed
Zach, go ahead.
having you guys out here, and we're really hoping that with things of Colorado, we're able to get some stuff going on here to where we can do something similar to what you guys did in Salina, to where we can get people to come on up here. I mean, Jeremy, we just took you to a couple places where you just kind of looked around, and there's so much. And let's be honest here, just having a bunch of people going and walking around Cheeseman Park, they still find bones every once in a while that come up through the ground.
I was kind of hoping to find bones.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because they say, go to where the trees are. Go to where the trees are. That's what they were telling us. So, we were trying to, kind of looking around the trees and stuff like that. We were really looking for some of this stuff. But, I would love to see more of the people come up here to Colorado with us, with you guys and bring you guys here. Because first off, my opinion, yeah, but we've got the best state in the union. It's the most beautiful state there is, 80
It is a beautiful state.
Oh, it is.
80 degrees all week long. I mean, beautiful 80 degrees. It's snowing today.
I saw that. I saw something on, when we got to the hotel, the Weather Channel was on, and they had like some
Is it snowing now?
banner that said like snowy flowers or something like that in Colorado.
Yeah. It was literally like 78 degrees yesterday. We had snowflakes the size of freaking VW bugs out here.
Oh my God.
Rosie.
Hey, what's up, Rosie?
Just joined us.
And by
So
the way,
who is Facebook user?
I was just about to answer that. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. That's actually Tom. He's right behind me. And he's like making all these comments. So Tom, you need to give, I'm going to say this to you clearly. You need to give StreamYard permission so we could see your name.
Because right now you're Facebook
at
user.
the Stanley Hotel, they now have a maze in front of that hotel. I don't know if you do that, Nick.
What's that?
They now have a maze in front of the hotel.
Oh, that's right. Yes, they do. I remember they installed that. What, like around like 2015? I think they put that in. Or
yeah, it was literally right after I was there because it was just a big open space when I was there the first time. And when I came home, I was doing a little bit of research, and they said that they had plans to put a maze in there in honor of that first movie.
Yeah, the original film.
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
see, when I was there, I remember it was an open space because I was back there when I was like 13 years old back in 2006, and yeah, it was just a wide area at that time. So it's amazing to me how well over like almost 10 years after my last visit there, that
here's the funny thing. In the original, in the book, it's not a maze. It's the animal hedges.
Yeah.
When Stanley Kubrick, whatever his last name is, the director, when he did the movie, he changed it to the maze.
Yeah, the hedge maze.
And from what I read of an interview that Stephen King did, he originally was going to do a hedge maze in the book instead of the hedge animals.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was just.
I heard something like that a few years ago. See, I actually do have the book. So I mean, I haven't read it yet, but I thought I heard something.
It's a really good
talking about that. Oh yeah, it is. I know it is. But
have you seen the miniseries?
A few years ago, he spoke about that. Yeah.
Have you seen the miniseries with Steven Weber?
No, I
Okay,
haven't.
yeah,
Like,
it
I've
had the
seen
guy. It
original
had the guy
movie, but
from Wings on it. Yeah, that's
yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
So,
seen the
the
mini series that was made in the
miniseries is
90s.
identical to the book.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to.
Because I read the book after watching the two shows, and for whatever reason, I was thinking, oh, he wrote this book after that TV show was on,
You know,
only to
it's
find
so
out that the book was actually written back in the 70s.
it's funny to think that because it's like you had the book written in the 70s, and you had the movie come out in the 80s, and then you had the miniseries that came out in the 90s. And I think I actually look. I can even 25 years later, I think I still remember seeing the like promo or commercial for when the miniseries was coming out on television. I think I remember seeing a commercial when it actually came out. So of course I didn't know what the hell it was back then because I was only like, 4 or 5 years old at that time. But I think I still remember when that first came out.
Yep. So what else do you have on the
yeah,
on the docket?
1997. Nick, when you said that, I was like going, was it really the 90s? I was
Yeah, it was
thinking it was early
1997.
2000s, but yeah, 1997.
Yep.
So wow.
And I got to say this about Rosie because Rosie said this, and she's talking about you, Tom.
Why?
You have a creeper, Nick Muley.
I think it's funny he's got the zombie shirt on, so hey,
Yeah.
So now just have Nick sitting there going, running over.
And then Tom can just slowly come into the picture. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So what else do you have on the docket, Zach?
Guys, we've got a lot of, we're doing a lot of things right now, as everybody knows. Rosie is, we're actually talking to Rosie and hoping that we can do something soon with her, because we know that women in the service have a lot of different issues, and we're seeing if there's something that we can do with Rosie, which would be because Rosie did take part in our 22-hour podcast. We kind of took over her show on that day, and she graciously did a wonderful job on that, and I'll never be able to thank her enough for that. But our program, folks, it's a very simple program. It was built by some knucklehead who look, it has to be simplistic because it was built by a simpleton. I mean, that's just the truth about it. All we want you to do is shop with small to medium businesses. Small to medium businesses are the ones who truly run the economy. Walmart can go and put up a store in the Atlantic Ocean, and if it doesn't work, they don't care. They've got 400 million other stores. They're going to write it off. It doesn't matter. As a small business owner, none of us can do that. We can't do that. We got to make sure that we're trying to tell our stories, be able to talk to each other. And so what we do is we ask you to come to our website, which is communitypayitforward.us, or use my little character, funny looking guy here, and you can scan on that, and you can see all the people who have asked us for help. And all they've done is it's anywhere from mom who's just struggling to feed kids right now because COVID's still taking effect in the workplace, and kids still can't go back to daycares. Some daycares, if things aren't in line, kids can't go back to school yet, and so mom and dad are suffering because things are still up in the air. So what we do is we take and we tell people, look, all we need you to do is tell your friends that if they shop with our partners throughout the country, all over the country. As a matter of fact, we've got a couple in Trinidad that help us out. We try to help a school in Africa. We want to be as big as we can be. Okay, we truly do. Because all we're asking you to do is shop with our great partners. Our great partners give us a referral fee, and we turn 80% of that referral fee to somebody like These Walls Can Talk. That's going to be where we're working here with the Things Network, and hopefully, Rosie, hint, hint, some more of you guys on some of the other channels, to where we can start restoring some of these buildings that need to be restored. We cannot lose our history. Humanity's taking away a lot of our history. Let's save what we can of our history. It's important to us. It's important to our future. So, we just want to save these buildings. We also run programs that try to help out veterans. We try to help out families in need, kids trying to raise money for school or church programs or club activities. We'll raise money for them. The story behind that was Jeremy and I'm not sure if I told you this, but my son Justice had a chance to go to Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. That's our bloodline. That's our bloodline. No, you didn't fix it yet.
No, not yet. That was Tom. He's still trying.
Yeah, but he had a chance to go to Germany, Switzerland, and Austria, which is family bloodline, right after my accident. Unfortunately, he couldn't go because, it was only $3,000, but I wasn't making an income. I would rather hit that fence 1,000,000 times an hour rather than tell my son that he couldn't go to that trip again, because that hurt me personally. And so we're going to try to help make sure that these kids who earn the chance to go and visit the White House, you know what? Agree with the president, disagree with the president. If your child has a chance to meet him, child should probably go. We don't get that as adults. We don't get that opportunity unless we've really done something special, or have billions of dollars and we can pay for their campaign. Then we could maybe get a 2-minute session with him. But we just want to try to help people. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to find a way to where people have never had a chance to find help. We're trying to find a way to help these people. Like I was telling Jeremy earlier in this show, I got lucky. There were a lot of people there for me when I was run off the road on my motorcycle 7 years ago, and fractured my skull, broke my face, busted my neck, lost the hearing in my right ear. If I was alone, I don't know how I would have made it through it. But the first thing I really thought of was, wow, what if it wasn't me there? What if nobody did know me and I woke up and nobody was there and I was losing everything, and you knew right there life was different. So we wanted to find a way to try to help them as well as everybody else. So that's basically what Community Pay It Forward is. Community Pay It Forward is businesses talking to each other, asking people to shop with us, because what we're going to do is we're going to donate a portion of sales to a cause that you, as the customer, love. So if you know somebody who needs help, 970-909-0751. 970-909-0751. Let's have a conversation. I want to help as many people as we can. There's no reason for any of us whatsoever to have to go it alone. Okay? When we all come together, nobody has to go it alone. I say it every show of mine. Okay? There's no reason why we can't all start pushing the same way and make things happen. We just have to get out of our own way. And right now, that's one of the biggest problems, is that we've got people who are yelling at each other because we've got a government section that wants to take and divide us. Well, as long as we're divided, we're not paying attention to what they are doing. So what we do, thank you, Clarissa, I appreciate that. But all we do is we ask you to shop with our partners, and they're going to give us a referral fee. And we're going to take 80% of that referral fee, and we're going to put it where you want it. If you want to see who has asked us for help, the QR code right next to me, just scan that. You can see the people who have asked for our help. If you know somebody who needs our help, let's make sure that they get on that QR code. Let's make sure that we start helping the people in the community who need our help. Once again, nobody has to go it alone when we all come together. So, Jeremy, Nick, I appreciate you guys bringing me on for this. I think that this is a great thing that we have been working on, and I'm proud that we finally get to announce this, that we're going to do this. We're going to work to get, hearing that we're going to get the Salina involved.
He did it.
He did it. He got it.
He finally did it.
So,
Zach, one thing I do want to point out, I told you about Clarissa before. There is a project that she and I are getting ready to start working on, the two of us, that I think we might be able to, in some way, tie it into what you're looking to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm all in. You know, I'm in to do whatever we can do to help people. That's it. Um, and as I've said so many times, helping people doesn't always mean money. Helping people
Right.
means a lot of things. You know, a lot of times adding money to something is the worst thing you can do. So let's just find and I'm willing to do anything that brings good vibes, that brings education, that brings memories, good memories. I mean, I'm all about doing stuff, and I love doing stuff a little bit different. I mean, I was going to do. I was the first thing I was thinking about doing after the accident was being an event planner. There, and the second thought I had just minutes after that is, you don't like people near enough to be an event planner. Okay, I mean, I don't know anybody. Okay, and this is a guy talking now who's been through two marriages, who's planning another one. I don't have either. None of those women wanted to go to a Zak Clayton wedding. Okay, I'll help you celebrate the hell out of a divorce. I can help you do that. I'm not helping you plan a wedding. That ain't gonna happen ever. So, um, you know, but working with small to medium business is so great because they really do care about what's going on around them. And if we can help them, we can help others. And working together, I just think it's really a thing that we can do great. So yeah, let me fill me in on what you guys got going on. I'm all about it.
And that's one thing is all about, is helping other people. So that's
Yep.
why I love what you're doing, because you're helping people in one way, we're helping people in another way. While albeit they are very different ways, it's still helping people.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is, and I know that we're running out of time, but I just got to get this in real quick. Yeah, sorry, I can't do that. Um,
I need
but
help to fix my car.
but one of the things that we first did was I took our queue off Facebook, and we told everybody, okay, look, what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to collect $50 and 50 shares. And then if we get to this $50, 50 shares, we're going to donate the $50. And then you can meet us at the Windjammer. We're going to break an egg over our head, and everybody can come and have some adult beverages, laugh at the guys walking around with egg on our head. And it literally took like 6 minutes, and we got the 50 and the 50, and we were like going, well, all right, so we're going to up it. If you get us to $100 and 100 shares, what we'll do is we'll draw a name out of a hat, and those 5 people are going to get to break an egg over our head. Took a little bit longer, took about 8 minutes, and we had the 100 and 100. What we ended up doing that night was we ended up buying like 3 cases of eggs, and we went in and to the Windjammer. We sat down and we said, it's $1 an egg, break an egg, have some fun. We ended up raising $789 that night for the family of a little girl who lost her life to leukemia. Okay. We were able to give this family $789 for a total of 45 minutes worth of work. Dad came up to me after this, Jeremy, and this is where this is so important to me. Dad came up to me after this and he goes, why did you do this? You don't even know me. And I looked at him and I said, do I need to know you to care? Do we need to know people to care? Absolutely, we do not. We just have to care.
Yeah. That stories like that is just awesome.
Yeah, it really is.
It was sloppy. I couldn't eat an omelet for a month and a half. I'm a fat guy. I love my omelets, but I couldn't eat them after that.
Well, that is a lot of eggs.
Oh, it's a lot of damn eggs. Yeah, I found out that night that two things. One, people like doing funny stuff where people get to humiliate themselves. And 2, I got a lot of friends with anger issues. Eggs are not hard to break. You don't need to beat somebody over the head with them. My friends, apparently, they do. So,
yeah. Well, I don't know if I would like it if somebody broke an egg over my head. I mean, that's
I
a
don't
lot.
think either me either.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you something, brother. Your hair will never be as soft as it is that night. Okay, I rode my motorcycle home, and you guys have all seen the anime, the way that they do their hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the way my hair looked when I got home. My hair was stuck straight back.
But you had fun cleaning it.
Pikachu, I choose you. I was all on the side of my pants. It was scrambled egg on the side of my pants. But after I was done washing my hair, I've never had softer hair than that day. Granted, I had an eggshell in my head for about 3.5 weeks, but still.
So Tom just said this really funny joke involving the eggs. What did you say, Tom?
I'll pass.
Wait, you might speak a little bit louder. What was
Egg wash on their head.
Oh, do an egg wash on your head. Jeremy, when you shut off.
So I think that we've got a good idea to raise money for Jeremy.
By doing an egg wash.
You probably need to do a kissing booth, which could make him millions. You know, we'll just ask people to break an egg over his head to help him with medical expenses. How does that sound? Do it the day before you shave your head, then your hair's all nice and clean for those kids.
Oh yeah.
Why in the hell is there egg yolk in this guy's hair?
Yeah, that'd be a story to tell them.
We could put bacon on for a conditioner.
What do you say?
He said we could add bacon on for a conditioner.
Oh boy.
Kids, every time the kids put on the wig, they're gonna go, Mom, how come every time I put on my hair I want toast?
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say this because I gotta get this out of my system, but it's far better than putting Gorilla Glue in your hair.
Really hurts a hell of a lot less too.
I was going to
Yeah.
today too.
Yeah, he actually said he was gonna buy it today. Originally, yes, Tom was gonna buy Gorilla Glue earlier today.
In case I made it up
No.
on the show.
There you go.
What we got, Adrian?
Yeah. Mom's here. You're in trouble.
No, you're the one who's in trouble. You're the only one she can actually physically hurt right now.
Thanks, Jeremy. Thanks. You getting me in trouble by you still being on the air is getting me in trouble.
Behind you?
He's the owner of the network.
I don't care. We still adhere to shit.
Okay, well, with that, we are pretty much end of time. I mean, our show runs until 10 o'clock, but technically we have up to 10:30, but we try to keep it at 10.
What is behind Nick? What the hell is the little face behind it?
Adrian, this
He is sitting in that right spot where he can hide, and then when he wants to play peekaboo.
Yeah.
okay.
Kind of
So
like Nick
Adrian,
does on
Yeah.
his show half the time. No.
this is
I
Tom
used to.
McNicholas. Tom, this is
Back when I was
Adrian.
in the other office, I had a poster of Abraham Lincoln that when I didn't have my green screen down, all of a sudden we'd be sitting there and the face of Abraham Lincoln would kind of come through and it would really
Hi, Tom.
really
Jim, right
freak some
behind me.
people out because they're just sitting there and exactly like what's happening with Tom right there. All of a sudden, Abraham Lincoln would come up and you just see people doing this to their.
Well,
They're
yeah.
like, what the hell do you have going on? And I've got, yeah, there you go. Run, Nick, run.
yeah, exactly.
You're getting awful
Surprise.
defined there.
No one said, run.
And it's funny, he didn't intend to do it
he's
that way.
usually my dude when I go to these parents. So, that's Tom McNicholas, Adrian. It's like he just keeps disappearing.
Who is the Facebook user?
That's Tom.
That's Tom too.
Yeah,
How
he
does Tom come up with his name?
Yeah, but he finally he had to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
had
it
to
took
mute
him
the
a
That's
few
what
mic several
Rosie's
times.
talking about. You got a creeper.
before he finally got it.
Yeah, that's what Rosie was saying. I had a creeper behind me.
Yeah.
So
So
Oh, did I go back?
okay, well, I'll tell you what. This has been a fun show,
Yeah.
and we got to finally announce, like he said, these walls can talk.
that's right. And remember, these walls can talk. We just have to listen, whether
Yeah.
it's paranormal or just the history of them themselves.
Well, even as a paranormal investigator, half of my enjoyment is learning the history of these buildings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, plus you get to take away all the misconceptions, like we were just talking about with that farmhouse.
I don't
You know, we went there thinking that, you know, some crazy whacked out farmer burned his house down with his family in it. Then we've come to find out, wait, the farm didn't burn down until 1975?
And it had nothing to do with the original guy.
Nothing to do with the
Right,
original guy.
And Adrian, I even told Nick the story of the tractor.
Tractor, yeah.
Yeah, but what we didn't say was that this tree that she and I were kind of drawn to, not spiritually drawn to, we were just kind of drawn to it because it was so out of place.
Mhm.
And it turned out that according to a picture that you found, that tree was right there by the house that burned
Yep.
down.
And we know that there was life there because my dad almost fell in a makeshift toilet.
Well, God.
Jeez.
Well, okay.
I
Redneck.
remember that.
We dig a hole. We use the bathroom. We bury it. It's not like we leave it for anybody else to step in. It's redneck way. We bury it. It's buried.
Yeah. And
Somebody forgot to bury it.
and the land right now is now a disc golf area.
And then the story of the Ouija board. There's so many stories out there. And then the real story turned out to be completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that we were talking about, that we originally went out there thinking that she was one of the original bodies that were buried in Cheeseman Park. And then we come to find out, wait, she died in 1945? Well, if she was buried there, as we were saying,
She was moved.
she was moved, and she was buried a long time before she died. So, I mean,
she really was not buried before she died. Let's not get that started.
That would sound pretty horrible.
Yeah, and then
Well,
somebody will take off
Some
with that.
people were buried before they died, but
That
that's
is
another
true,
story.
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah,
I
that's
still like the idea of putting the cheese on the end of the bell.
Excuse me.
Somebody's in a coffin with one of those bells,
Yeah,
and
oh,
has
yeah,
the
the
kids
bells
just
that they
taking
have. Yeah,
tight
like,
cheese to the end of the bell.
yeah.
And then that way the mice are down there grabbing the bell and ringing the bell for like 15 years after you die. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Because every mouse only takes one bite and then runs away, so that
Not if
mice
they're
for the
trapped
next
in.
15 years can do that.
Yeah. There you go.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? They'll just keep multiplying.
You have to forgive the city boy here. He has no clue about the country. None. But
I've
he's going to
seen
find
mice
out the hard
before.
way. We're going to take him snipe hunting.
No, we're not.
Oh, what is
He's
it?
not that much of a city boy.
Oh, yeah?
I've watched Cheers.
Oh, he's watched Cheers.
Okay. Here, Zach, let me lay it simple for you.
Right.
You're going to want city water. Adrian's going to want well water. So you two are going to have to compromise and go with well water.
That's it.
No, Jeremy, you got it wrong. I've got Diet Pepsi. I'm all good. I don't need that water stuff.
Hey,
Let me guess. Black cherry?
out in the country, you don't have Diet Pepsi.
Oh, yes, I will.
No, you won't. Unless you're driving 2 hours.
Is it black cherry flavored?
No, not this one. Not this
No.
one.
is it just ordinary flavor?
Nick, everything this man had is black cherry. From the drink to the hand soap.
You see these chubby chicks? That's why.
Well, I kind of have that partial lifestyle too, except I like to drink Dr. Pepper cherry a lot. I mean, not all the time. You know, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
No, this is his coffee in the mornings. This is it. This is this is gross. He needs some flipping water. When his kidneys shut down,
Yeah.
we'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'm old.
We weren't disputing that. We weren't even arguing about that.
Yeah.
I'm already, I think that I've drank enough in my lifetime that I'm already 3/4 embalmed anyway.
You have to sign the life insurance policy over before you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
What do you
Miss
guys say we go
Clayton,
ahead and end the show?
Miss Clayton, we're sorry that your husband died. Here's his $1.35. Please don't spend it all in one place.
That's when I take your ashes and scatter them in the ocean where I want to be.
I really won't care at that point in time. I really won't care at that time, I don't think.
Yeah, you will.
So
You'll come back and go, hey, I don't like the ocean.
I smell like fish. What the hell?
You're going to smell worse than that.
You know, I just got shit out of a mackerel. What the hell?
You are helping preserve the environment.
Oh, there we go.
Well,
Wow, the show took a look. See, she shows up and the show takes a really weird twist.
I was gonna say, what a way to end the show.
she's usually our voice of reason on the show,
Yeah.
but she's
I've been
probably
dealing with a kid for 2 hours that kind of wants to, I don't know, push my buttons tonight. So I just came in here to hide.
well. We've also had to get a lot of stuff off of our shoulders earlier too today. So, yeah. So we did have that to somewhat set the mood, especially for me because I've been on 2 shows before this one.
Uh-huh.
I saw the one on you with the Rev when you were on the Rev show earlier. I saw a partial. I saw a part
Then
of
there
that
was
earlier.
one this morning.
And what was that one this morning? Well, what was the show this morning?
Jeremy, what was the name of the show?
Witchy Whims.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were on the road at that point.
I did that
Those
one.
girls are awesome. I love them ladies.
And then did the show with the Rev,
this morning.
where I now have a new persona. Where he came up with that name for me, I have no clue. I'm not even going to ask.
God, do I dare ask what the
He
name
comes
is?
up with stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he dreams it up.
And seeing him as not a man of the cloth for today, it was different.
Yeah.
I kind of liked a little bit of the chest bush coming out. That was an interesting look for him, kind of doing the 1970s.
Have you seen him on exorcisms or seen him when he's out investigating? He doesn't have that on.
No.
He looks like Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh boy.
Wow.
He really does.
That's a scary thought.
And then Sunday night, I'm going to be on Unlocked and Uncensored again with Terry and Jess as basically a part 2 of what Witchy Whims was about.
Those girls are awesome. I love them.
I don't know if it's going to be the same episode, but I think Jeremy, they want me to come on too. I'm able to. I think I might be coming on.
Well,
I got to check.
you were on their show a couple weeks ago.
They wanted me to come back on with you at some point.
Okay.
They didn't tell you about that?
Yeah, they told me about that, and I was like, well, I don't know what it would be for him because I know he has to work in the morning.
Okay. Well, no, I don't work on Monday. I don't work on Monday mornings, so it doesn't matter to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that then.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have been an issue for you at all.
No one.
Okay. Well, it's 1:15. What do you say we go ahead and end the live, and then we can continue on later? After that,
Yeah.
let's at least get off. Yeah. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And Nick, glad to see you that you were able to pop on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too,
Tom,
Tom.
nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, yeah, keep going in and out, and then we can start calling you Peeping Tom.
Ah,
I didn't even think about that. My God.
Yeah.
I just now thought about that too.
See, I would have originally called him because I actually know somebody who knows this guy. That's called. I would have called him Creepy Tommy, but I know there's someone else that is called Creepy Tommy out there. So Peeping
Yeah.
Tom could work, right, Tom?
Yeah, it's just funny how it just buried into the background, and then all of a sudden he comes up and you see his face. Yeah.
like right now, like he's demonstrating.
No.
No.
that almost looked like a real human apparition.
And I'll tell you what, if you'll take a screenshot of that and put it on, what is it?
Paranormal caught on camera.
Yes, they will play it. I promise you. Because we got one of
They just
kids
might.
that's coming in and out of there, and it looks like somebody reaching. We're putting it on there just to see what happens.
Yeah,
well,
they
I'm
just
gonna have to
might.
do that.
I just keep wondering how many times you could send this to Baggins and he would sit there with him in the back going, he's got to be a demon. That's got to be a
It's
demon back
definitely
there.
gotta
No,
be a
you
demon.
can't, because if it's not him, he ain't playing it. But caught on camera, there's not one they'll debunk. Not one.
You know what?
I mean,
Because
they got
we're
people
gonna be
out there all dressed in white, I mean, serious, solid dressed in white with you can see the shitty makeup and the wig. You can see it all. And they're sitting there going, "Ugh," turning around like they're a zombie or something. And they're like, it's the lady in white. Ah! And it's like going, oh my God, no, it's your doofus friend that's out there and you guys are playing this game.
Oh,
And I bet you they would play that.
okay, that was good. That was
He was on that. He was saying, "I'm going to do this."
Yeah.
No,
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and end the show.
I'm just
Yeah,
going
it'll
to say
be
this.
Four friends
I
are on a
was talking about
podcast
because-
when all of a sudden this appears.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
well, you guys know obviously all too well since I'm going to be at Parapsychon tomorrow. One of the guys from Paranormal
That
Con
right
is going
there.
to be there.
Capture that right
so-
there. Screenshot it. It'll be done.
I don't know.
We'll
Wait.
send it.
Oh, right there.
Yep, right
Trying to
there.
figure out how do I.
Then we send it.
I just got it.
Still,
I
hold on,
just
need
got
to
the
figure out how to do a
screenshots.
screenshot. How do you
Yeah.
do a
I
screenshot?
was able to get the screenshot, Nick.
Oh, you
Like I
got it.
said,
Okay, he's
like
got
she was
Yeah, I
saying,
got it.
I'll bet you we could send this in. Hey, we were just doing a podcast when all of a sudden this happened. Hi, my name is Jeremy, and I shot this footage. It is real. I promise you.
Oh my.
Okay, so where can everybody find you, Zach? Your podcast channel?
6 foot
All of
under
that.
if he's not careful.
There, apparently. One of the easiest ways to get a hold of us is right here. This thing. Yeah, wherever the hell it went.
this.
Just
It didn't go
scan that
anywhere.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
scan that thing. It's gonna take you to our website. It's gonna take you everything that you need to know. You're gonna realize all the people who have asked us for help are right in there. Some of the greatest missions you'll ever see in your life. We got the Avery Foundation, which deals with life after trafficking. We've got everywhere from out in your guys' neck of the woods. We've got Project Die Hard, which is trying to take and build homes for, or build a center where people who are coming out of the service have a place to go and learn how to become a human again instead of just being shoved out and said, well, thanks for your time. Here's a paycheck. So long. This will get them integrated back into the world of civilian life, which is very difficult to do. should take some of the suicides down. To wonderful families that just need a helping hand, to people who are trying to start up businesses. We want to help them do that, and we want to help them kick it off by wanting to give back to people. You can also just give me a call at 970-909-0751. One more time, that's 970-909-0751. And of course, always at communitypayitforward.us. I almost sound like I've done that once or twice.
You sound really robotic, yes.
Well, I could have done it in my stupid voice, but oh wait, I did do it in my stupid voice. Never mind.
Oh, please shut this show off.
I will, Adrian. Give me a minute.
Yes, give us a second.
Well, Zach, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank
yeah,
you guys. I
definitely
appreciate the
bring you
chance
on
to come
again.
on. So
Yeah.
it's fun being on the other side once in a while.
It is.
Yeah.
So, but now I guess it's time to go and take my beating.
She's waiting for it.
You like it. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, she's
All right.
she's standing so close, it's scaring the hell out of me. It really is.
Go ahead and shut it off. Let's go.
I love you all. Bye.
I'm trying to figure out who we got as our guest for next week. I should have had this pulled up here before. So
I have
next
a
week,
strange feeling it's not going to be me.
next week we have Nick and Angie from the Bell Mansion. So we are going to be interviewing them. First, we're going to be talking about their team, and then we're going to be talking about the Bell Mansion, which would probably be another place to add to your list of locations, Zach, providing you survive that incoming smack.
No.
Why do I feel like I just
And
on the floor?
If you did, you're cleaning your shit up. That's all I can tell you. Because I'm
Okay.
not.
Okay.
okay. So anyway, for those of you out there in the audience who have joined us, thank you so much for hanging out with us and playing along. Zach, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Adrian, thank you for not killing Zach on the show.
Yeah.
Yet
I wait for you to shut it off, then we will.
she can't have the video. She can't have video proof. I'm a fat guy. She's going to need help carrying me off.
I got a kid.
I am not touching this.
Tom's saying goodbye too.
And thank you for Tom for being our visual
Ghost?
Creeper
for being our
Tom.
visuals for the day.
Yeah, creepy Tom. Creeping Tom.
So
I'm sure
until
he'll be
next
back
week,
at
Nick.
some point.
if it's paranormal or beyond,
We got it covered.
that's right. See you guys next week.
Have a good night.